Hi everyone and welcome to Right Fashions. My name is Aaliyah and here on this channel I talk about all things fashion, travel, scholarship, and deals. In today's video I'm going to be talking about how I secured an internship at Michael Kors head office in New York, and I'm going to be talking accomplishments, challenges, workload, and how you can secure your next internship. Let's jump right into it. So, my first tip for anybody looking for an internship in fashion is to start early. Why? Because you want to get in front of recruiters as soon as possible when they're going to be looking for interns for their summer program. So, for example, when people are looking for summer interns, you want to start looking on LinkedIn or Indeed around, I would say, like October, November. That's when they're going to start getting into looking for candidates, because a lot of times for internships you're going to go through several rounds of interviews. And then I would say for the spring, start early, like I would say August, end of July, start looking into what internships would be available. And then for the fall, I know for me, I started like June, July. Like I started way in advance, months in advance, before I secured my internship in September. So it takes about several months for you to really prepare and really start to scout and see what's out there first, so that way you can start getting your foot in the door. So, one of my biggest resources that I used in order to secure my internship was on LinkedIn. I used their service so much, especially when I was in college, to really help me look to see like what companies were going to be hiring for interns, what they were going to be looking for as far as like the description goes. Sometimes on LinkedIn, they have a LinkedIn Easy feature where all you have to do is just upload your resume and that would be it. You don't really have to go through the application process on that company's website. All they do is basically look through all the resumes that have been uploaded through that feature on LinkedIn, and it comes in super handy and it cuts down on a lot of time and work that you have to put in to, get your application seen in front of them. I would say check LinkedIn because, as you can see, they have a bunch of listings for fashion and internships too. So just always check back because it's always being updated. Also, I would say too, with LinkedIn, you can reach out to recruiters. That is such a key thing. Like all the recruiters, whether they're, human resources, talent coordinators, people, recruiters for the college programs, they are on LinkedIn looking for new talent to fill their roles. So don't be shy if you want to message one of them or connect with one of them and let them know that, hey, I'm interested in this. How can I apply? What are some things that I can do? Also, I've seen from fashion companies like Urban Outfitters and other places that have done virtual sessions. So they will take to LinkedIn and announce on their pages when they're going to start having virtual sessions for their internship program. That is key to sign up on and get in on, because you're getting to know them face to face before it's time to do any sit down interview via Zoom or in person. You're just getting to know the company, their values, what the internship program is going to be like, and what they're expecting from you. So I feel like this is such an advantage to really get in on virtual sessions to really see what a company is like versus kind of going in and just applying and then seeing how the recruitment process goes when you start to interview. So I think all that in conjunction is just very helpful to use and helpful when securing is, internship for you, because at the end of the day you want to find as much information as possible and get as much information as possible on what sessions are going to be coming up and what things and events are going to be coming up that are going to be pertaining to the internship that you want. So for me, the interview process was a little bit different because in the beginning, I was looking for buying and planning internships because that is what I had learned the most about in school, and I wasn't really hearing back when it came to that role from fashion companies. But I was hearing back for visual merchandising. I received 2 interviews, and I did one with YSL to be a visual merchandising intern, and the second one was at Michael Kors to be a retail development intern in visual merchandising. And so the Michael Kors interview, I had the first one with an intern in human resources and talent, And we just basically talked about the expectations and how the role was going to be like on a day to day. So it was pretty easygoing, candid, and relaxed. And from there, I moved on to the second interview, which was going to be with my three hiring managers. And that can be nerve wracking. So I say, do your research on the company. I know for me, I looked into what Michael Kors had done in the past, what they were doing presently, and what they were doing moving forward, because you never know when a hiring manager is going to ask about your opinion on what a company is currently doing now. Then, afterwards, look into practicing and preparing for questions, common questions that you know are probably going to be asked, like, tell me a little bit about yourself, or tell me about a time or an example where you worked in a group and it didn't work out. How did you react and what was the outcome? Or did you work in a team before and collaborate with others? When you worked on a project, what did you work on? What were some of the hurdles that you had to overcome and what were the results? So just things like that, practicing your answers to it really helps. And also for me, when it came to researching, I kind of had a little bit of an edge because I did work the retail side for Michael Kors. So I understood the customer, I understood the product, and I understood their values. So now it's time to go down to Times Square and go up to the 19th floor and do my interview. And boy, just take a breath, go in, and just know that you have it. So I went in and really just talked to them about my experience working in retail, what I learned, also what I was learning in school, and then they just asked me questions about my skill set when it came to Adobe, learning specifically Photoshop and knowing a lot about like InDesign and Illustrator. So I just really talked to them about that skill set. Guys, as a pro tip, learn your shortcuts. Like get really good in Adobe. So that was basically the end of that. And when we did come to the end of the interview, we were able to talk about some exciting news that they already knew about, which was Michael Kors acquiring Versace. So that was very exciting for them. And when I interviewed during that time, they had just been acquired. So a lot of buzz was already going around the office about this exciting news. So afterwards, I went back, and I think with like in another week, I found out that I got the position, and it was just so crazy. I was like, what? Me? Intern? Are you crazy? Like, of course I'll do it. So, yeah, I just was so ecstatic because I was just really ready to work, ready to grind, but also really ready to learn. So, I say take those tips and just, beast at it, go into the interview and give it your all. Because if that's an internship that you really want, it will shine through the interview. So this is my ID picture. Oh my god, I look so young. I have to insert like a little clip of it. But I basically use that to get in and out on the different floors. And yeah, they just give you like one of these and a little like wallet that you can bring with you. And that was like really nice for being an intern and just starting there. But getting into the workload, it was definitely a challenge to juggle. I say for me, I really had to learn what was urgent versus what was our priority versus what was a task that could be handled later on the back end. Being an intern, I would say try not to get super caught up in the workload. You are here to learn. This is a learning experience for you, and you are here to take away little nuggets that you can apply and use later on in life. But the end goal and the ultimate goal is to learn. Your hiring managers are also there because they have their position and role and are taking on their own workload. You are here to help with that workload, but at the same time, you are here to learn. So, those are some of the biggest takeaways that I learned being in my internship. I would say for me, one of the biggest challenges was being able to adapt. When I say they want you to work fast and efficiently, when I talked about earlier the shortcut keys, I mean, that is a holy grail saving grace because that is something that is going to save time instead of using your mouse to use drop down menus and try to find, different ways of doing layers on Photoshop. You have to learn how to use Command Z or hit the space button. Just being able to move quickly. Like, I remember my managers, they would always be like, your fingers should never be touching a mouse. Like you should always just be using your keypad because you're going to move 10 times quicker on your work. So just being able to get over that hurdle of not only knowing and like understanding Photoshop, but also like being quick and efficient with getting projects done. So for me, one of my first projects was pulling product. So they have like an archive of all the product that they have for future seasons. And you basically pull the product and you build directives. And what a directive is basically how a store is going to look and be built. So store design will create, these different stands, or they'll design how the store is going to look and feel. And for visual merchandising, you are going to take that product and tell a story with your T stands or however the layout is set up, but you need to tell a story with the product. And for me, we had to do like a holiday collection, so it was a lot of pinks and just like bright colors. So really being able to understand what colors were going to complement which, what we wanted in the front versus what we wanted in the back, and how we wanted each product to stand out on its own. And also, that is a way too to build up sales. So, when you think about visual merchandising, you want to kind of group things together. If I have a backpack, I want it next to a purse. If I want it next to a purse, I want it next to the wristlet that can go along with that purse. If I want it next to the wristlet, I want matching keychains to go on. That was a big thing that a lot of businesses, not just Michael Kors, will focus on. They want you to build up that transaction. They want you to build a lifestyle and get the bag, get the matching wristlet, get the keychain, get the cleaner. This all adds to you being a part of the brand and having like a bigger force in the brand, because not only are you buying one product, but you're buying several. So that was one thing that we really had to work on. And for me, I wanted to build a directive that was compelling. Like when you walk into the store, I want you to stop and look at it and be like, oh, that's the latest thing that they have out. I want to check it out. Let's see what's new. That's the ultimate goal for a lot of people who work in visual merchandising. We are trying to catch your eye. We are trying to break up all the noise and really get you to see what our product is. Because when you walk into a Macy's or a J.C. Penney's or a Neiman, there are going to be hundreds of shop and shops that are trying to get what? Your attention. So how can we as a company stand out to capture your attention individually and kind of break through all the noise in retail? Because we want you to know that our product is special and is meant for you, and that, this is something that, you want to have, and something that is almost like a commodity. Like you want to keep checking in to see what's new. You want to keep building your collection of bags. So that was something that, I really had to hone in and focus on. One of the other projects that I did work on was a footwear directive. And that was kind of a little bit different because we were basically taking some of the best practices that were being implemented in stores visually and showcasing that. So we were building this directive to send to stores nationwide to show you, hey, do you see how store 61334 is doing this in Miami, or store 5378 is doing this in New York? This is working for them because they are driving sales, because they are putting the shoes a certain way. Or instead of putting all the handbags to the front, they're putting shoes that are on trend, that are in season, towards the front, and it is getting traction. Instead of just having all different types of pairs lined up next to each other, they're color coordinating. So you're going to put the pinks with the reds and have it tell a story on one level. And then on the second level, you're going to have, maybe a dark blue and a baby blue to really just tell a color story. So just things like that to really show managers across the board just how well they can, build up and build out the way their stores look. Because each Michael Kors that you go into, it's going to look totally different from, one from Miami, one from LA. Each store is going to look totally different. And then I would say one of my other hardest tasks hardest, most challenging ones was to build out computer aided designs, or what we call CADs. And basically, assistant designers will sketch the way a garment is going to look, or they'll do a flat of it, which is kind of more for technical design, but they'll basically do a flat sketch of it. And sometimes you'll get a shirt from Michael Kors that doesn't just come in black, it comes in purple, red, blue, pink. So we're not going to do purple, red, blue, and pink. We're not going to take separate photos of each of those shirts. We're going to take one photo of the black shirt, and then I will have to go in on Illustrator and Photoshop and fill in the different colors. So we're going to remove the black and fill it in with the reds, pinks, and blues to help cut down on time, because you only get so much allotted time when it comes to shooting product for the future season. And then you kind of have to go in and readjust things, fix things. Sometimes designers go with one look and then it gets scrapped, or sometimes you only have one sample of a look. So, if we don't have the t-shirt in, red, or if we don't have it in pink, then fine, we have it in black. We just need to change the colorway. And vice versa, the same things go for patterns. Like sometimes we wouldn't get in a pattern, but if the assistant designer had a digital swatch of it, we would just take the digital swatch, fill it into the sketch, and that would be how we would build out directives. So at least you could get a visual understanding of how it was going to look with the different colorways, with the different patterns, with the different designs. And we would be able to play with that and just see what was going to work, what was not going to work, what did we need to take off table stands, what did we need to add for hanging, how can we make it visually appealing. Should we add dresses next to the belts, or should we do dresses and then denim in the middle and then blouses? How are we going to build this out? So that was just so challenging. I had never really done anything like that before. And another tip is to write everything down. Like my managers would go a mile a minute and I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna take it down. And then you're like, okay, I'm going to figure this out. Yep. I'm going to go to YouTube, see some tutorials on this. If there's some things that I don't understand, guys, write everything down step by step. Because for me, it really tripped me up when I would go in and I would be like, okay, I know what I need to do. I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. So I need to do step 1, 2, and 3, 4. I would do step 1, 2, and 4. And my managers would be like, what happened to 3? This isn't correct. And it was really because I needed to slow down and take my time and sit down to understand exactly step by step how to do something, because it's almost like math. If you don't have a foundation and build out on that, or if you miss one step in solving a problem or an equation, you're gonna miss the whole thing. So I think that's one challenge that I tried to work on and overcome. And it was just really challenging. I really had to have them sit down with me and kind of hold my hand when it came to that project, because I was just not catching on to it. And it happens. I say if that happens to you, don't be ashamed. Don't beat yourself up. I was kind of like that. I was like, man, what am I doing wrong? I don't understand why I can't get this. Just the frustration coming in. And it's don't be frustrated, because you're learning. This is the first time you're ever going to be doing some things like this. And your managers have probably been doing this for months or years. So they're pretty good at it. They're pros to it. And you're just starting. So you cannot compare your start to somebody else's, finish. You can't compare where you're at, if you're at level 3, to somebody's level 30 and they've been doing it every day for the last 3-4 years. So I say that was one thing that I had to really work through. I would say too, when it comes to evaluations, I know for me, we had intern evaluations to really work on just embracing constructive criticism. Do not take it to heart. Just know that there are some things that we all can improve on and we can all work on, and just be open-minded to it and say, okay, there are some ways that I can fix this. There are some ways I can fix that. it is really just to fuel you and to get you to be better, because at the end of the day, like, that's what a lot of managers want for you, is to just be better. So, try not to take it too hard to heart. I know for me, like, the first time my evaluations, they were, decent, but I did feel like, I could really do better in a lot of areas, because it was just like, something that I was just learning about corporate culture and how to present yourself and how you need to come with a work ethic and things like that. So it was just, the evaluations, take it with a grain of salt, take the constructive criticism with a grain of salt, and just take it and learn from it. Don't take it to heart, because if not, you'll really be racking your brain around why you're not perfect. Like, why are my evaluations not coming in with flying colors? And it's because there's stuff that we can all work on, not just, you as an intern, but even managers, higher ups, directors. There's stuff that, everybody can improve on. I would say my biggest accomplishment, I will have to insert all these clips below. Like, my biggest accomplishment was definitely having my visual merchandising directive that I helped create featured on the corporate call for Michael Kors. They were doing a holiday call, and it's like different departments, everybody's getting on this big call, and visual merchandising came up. Guys, I gotta insert the clip. Yo, my mind is blown. Like, literally, they used my directive to be featured on the corporate call. How crazy is that for an intern? An intern's work being featured in front of all these other people. Like, I was just like, wait a minute, I'm on cloud nine. I need to calm down, because this is crazy. Like, my work is actually like being appreciated and featured. And man, like, when I tell you, it's so rewarding. You're like, wow, my hard work is being recognized. And that's something that's super fulfilling. Super fulfilling. I would say too, when it came to other challenges, just navigating the corporate space. Navigating the corporate space. Navigating the corporate space as an African American too. Just being able to figure out, how do I fit into this space, can be difficult. You trying to figure out how you should present yourself, figuring out how you want to come off to other people, and just letting people know that when you come in and you step in, you come with confidence. You come with a deep work ethic, and that when you show up your best self. I think that's the best way that I can describe it, because sometimes corporate culture can be something that you're like, okay, these are kind of the do's and don'ts of how you need to present yourself and how you need to come and the energy that you need to be on. So I think I really had to learn how to navigate being in that corporate space as an intern, because you don't get a blueprint or like a mentor to really tell you that. You kind of have to learn that on your own. What I loved about the internship was definitely connecting with other interns in different departments. We used to go to lunch all the time. We used to connect all the time. Like, I still talk to a few of them. And listen, that is the best time to be able to just catch up and talk about like what you're doing in that department, who's doing what in their department. Like, it's like a big family. Like, you guys just go to lunch and just talk about what you've been doing, or you guys go to Chick-fil-A and just catch up. So that was one thing that I definitely like enjoyed. And then sample sales. Come on, sample sales. We love a good sample sale. Listen, when companies do sample sales, you got to get on that train. You got to get on that train, because sometimes you get like high end, super duper sample product that may not have been damaged, or usually a lot of times in like really good condition, and you get it for a real good discount. Like a real good discount. Let me tell you, like, you can get some of the best things, and you be like, man, this is a steal. Let me grab this wallet. Let me grab this purse. Let me grab this skirt. Let me grab this, that, because that sample sale only comes around a few times, and you got to get in and get out and get your goodies. I really enjoyed that. And then towards the end, to round off the end of my internship, I did get a gift from them. They gave me a nice little card thanking me. Oh, here it goes. Thank you for an unforgettable year. And this was from John Idle, which is the CEO, and Michael Kors himself. And then I got this lovely bag. It's a sample bag that they gave me. And it was just to basically commemorate and to celebrate the end of my internship, thanking me for all the hard work that I have put in because, y'all, I put in a lot of hard work. A lot of hard work. So that was just kind of our way of celebrating and just being able to, recognize me for all the times that we've gone in to help other stores, re-merchandise, help to build out directives, being ready for touch bases, being ready when things change on a drop of a dime, always being open and not being like, oh my God, things are always changing. Like just being open and receptive to it. So I think that was just kind of like my experience with them and just learning from my mistakes, and it really teaches you a lot of what you do want and don't want in a job, and it teaches you a lot about who you are as a person and where you fit in. I feel like I learned a lot about what I wanted, what I didn't want, and how I was going to move forward in my job search after graduating and seeking jobs, and just kind of navigating that space. So I feel like this was such a great opportunity for me. I really learned a lot. It taught me a lot about the fashion industry and the people that work in it. And I'm telling you guys, you can do it too. Keep your head down, apply, apply, apply. You will get that position or that internship that you're looking for. You just have to have faith in it and just know that what's for you is only for you and it's going to be for you. Only you can have it. So, this was my experience. I hope these tips and, some of my advice helped, and that, giving you some enlightenment on what you can do for securing an internship. But I kind of went over everything when it came to my experience at Michael Kors and how it worked out for me in the end. But stay tuned for more fashion content. I will be bringing more and doing maybe a few more story times and talking to you guys about other experiences I had working in fashion. Well, I hope you enjoy, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks again. Bye.